Hey folks, Patrick Cooper here with another Three Songs Thursday series. Here in the sunroom in New Orleans, Louisiana, and there is a bit of sun. We have not been blessed with a lot of sun for about the last month here in New Orleans. Just a lot of rain. I mean, we get rain always, anytime, but this has been incredibly large amounts of rain for many consecutive days. So grateful for a little sun. All right, this first song I'm going to do is a cover of an old Eagles song, but it's one that's probably a bit more obscure unless you're like a huge early Eagles fan, like I am. I actually started to not like them as much later when they got really huge because it was a little bit more pop rock, and it didn't quite, I didn't really quite like it as much. Not that I have anything against pop rock, I just didn't like the way they did it as much. But in the earlier days, they were kind of, I guess you'd call it, now it'd be called Americana. Then it was maybe called country rock. And this is off their album Desperado, which to me is just a great piece of work, a bit of a concept album. And this song is on the album and was not a hit or anything. It was written by their then lead guitar player, Bernie Levin, who later left the band. And then, as you probably know, Joe Walsh and Don Felder performed as kind of dual lead guitarists and did a great job, but again, just not quite the material that worked for me. I know they became huge after that, really huge. But anyway, this is a song that Bernie wrote and that is on the Desperado album called Bitter Creek. Once I was young, so unsure, trying to ill find the cure. Old man told me he tried to scold me. Out with the desert meets the sky is where I go when I wanna hide. Oh, peyote, she tried to warn me. Oh, you know there ain't no cost to eat in Bitter Creek. We're gonna hit the road for one last time, to walk right in and steal 'em blind. All that money no more running. I can't wait to see the old man's face when I win the race. Song called Bitter Creek by the Eagles off the legendary, at least to me, legendary Desperado album. What's interesting, I saw some interviews with some of the band members. That album actually did not sell that well at the beginning. Then later on, Linda Ronstadt did a cover of the song Desperado, and then that got interest more in the album itself. And so then they later started selling more. Then, of course, as we know, they exploded later when they went more into a pop rock vein, which worked out well for them, didn't it? Bernie still went on, and he played with the Flying Burrito Brothers. He had done that. He's done a lot of other projects and acquitted himself quite well. Obviously, he didn't quite make the money that he would have made with the Eagles, but I think he kind of got to follow his own path of the kind of music he wanted to play. Okay, so the short reveal actually ties in with the original tune that I'm going to do. You'll see why. So you see it says Stax Records. Stax was a legendary record label out of Memphis, Tennessee, mostly in the 60s, but also the 70s. They most of their roster pretty much were the stars were African American. Otis Redding, Sam and Dave, Arthur Conley, Eddie Floyd. But what's interesting about them, the house band, so to speak, was made up of a band that was known as Booker T and the MGs. And Booker T was a keyboardist, African American, and was the band leader. But interestingly, also 2 members of the band were Caucasian, which is pretty unusual back then to have a mixed race band members, especially in Memphis in the 60s. So that was quite a move forward. There's an interesting, you can actually go to the studio site and do tours. They're probably back open now since things have opened up since the pandemic. And really interesting, they have a documentary that you can watch before you do a tour of the studio. And it mentions the fact, it just shows how crazy and stupid things were. The band could play together in the studio and back all these great African-American artists, but they could not eat lunch in public together. So how about that? So on that happy note, but they persevered, obviously, and made incredible music and had great friendships. So anyway, the reason why it relates to my song that I'm about to do is the song is called Alone at Last, and you can definitely hear a Stax R&B influence in this song. So much so that, well, it's just really there. You can hear it. But I'm not going to go into the long story behind this song because some of you have heard me do this before, but this was written after having a conversation with a server in a diner here in New Orleans named Celeste, and she kind of told me her story, and I took her story and wrote a song. But she likes it, luckily. The song is called Alone at Last. I was waiting at the streetcar stop, trying to get downtown, when a woman runs on up and she sits herself down. She had a smile on her face as big as the river is wide. Made me want to swim across to see what's on the other side. So I told her I'm ready for the story, why she's doing so great. She said, okay, buddy, here's my tale, I'm gonna relay. When I'm done, you gotta buy me a beer at the end of the line. Said, lady, you got yourself a deal, it's your time to shine. Between the men and the kids, it's time to move on. After the men and the kids, I made myself a new home. They used to tell me it's a woman who's a lot in this life. You say that to me now, I'll come out. life. Been a good mother and I've been a good wife. Now I'm putting that all in the past. I'm alone at last. And love you again. Now raising my kids has brought me to a state of grace. But that ex-husband of mine, he's a total waste of space. Now the kids are all grown and I'm done with mommy time. Get rid of that axe, spend a long hard climb. She said between the men and the kids, it's time to move on. After the men and the kids, I've made myself a new home. They used to tell me it's a woman's lot in this life. If you say that to me now, I'll come at you with a knife. I've been a good mother and I've been a good wife. Now putting that all in the past, I'm alone at last. Now after you buy me that beer, I'm heading back to my own pad. Spend some time with a good book and a beautiful black lab. So you see, I'm so happy to now live the life I deserve. Before I turn out the lights, I'll probably take a few tokes of that herb. She said between the men and the kids, it's time to move on. After the men and the kids, I made myself a new home. They used to tell me it's a woman's lot in this life. If you say that to me now, I'll come at you with a knife. I've been a good mother and I've been a good wife. I'm putting that on the past. I'm alone at last. Alone at last. One of my songs, Alone at Last. I'm going to get right into the last song because I'm starting to run out of some time. This is a great one. I might have done it before, but I just love this song by Billy Joe Shaver. Well, I'm just an old chunk of coal, but I'm gonna be a diamond someday. I'm gonna grow and glow till I'm blue, pure, perfect. I'm gonna put a smile on everybody's face. I'm gonna kneel and pray every day, lest I become vain along the way. I'm just an old chunk of coal, honey, but I'm gonna be a diamond someday. I'm gonna shake everybody's hand. I'm gonna be the world's ever-loving friend. I'm gonna spit and polish my old rough-edged self till I get rid of every single flaw. I'm gonna kneel and pray every day, lest I become vain along the way. I'm gonna be the cotton-picking rage of the age, but I'm gonna be a diamond someday. I'm gonna be a diamond someday. Had to do a bit of a bridge version of that song, kind of merging some verses together. Sorry about that, Billy Joe. May he rest in peace. But anyway, thanks again so much for hanging out with me. My name is Patrick Cooper. This is 3 Songs Thursday, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.